Oh man, there is nothing quite like a packet of cheap knockoff hula hoops for breakfast. Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Guild Wars 2. We are now level 10, that means we've unlocked our next utility slot. Honestly, I don't have that many skill points in this character, I'm not sure what it is, maybe I'm just not... Well, mind you, I've got 7. That's not too bad, and I've unlocked a few skills, I suppose. But as you can see, I decided to buy 4 Great Justice, and I've equipped that along with the Signet. What I'd actually done off screen was I bought 4 Great Justice to replace the Signet before. Mike said that maybe that would be a better thing to do, so that's what I did. But now that I've unlocked the other slot, I just put that in there temporarily. I quite like that now with these two and my new weapon sets, I can get like 15 stacks of might or something, and I don't know, I think there's something about me, I really enjoy stacking boons up on myself on this game, so I might do that for a while. And plus it's remarkably effective at early levels as well, like you can over double the amount of power you usually have just through doing that. So yeah, I mean, I might do that for a while and then we'll swap out to something else, but this is slightly more active. The new skill is a shout, which is a type of skill that warriors get, which can be instantly activated, you don't have to stop or anything. And that doesn't mean so much for Guild Wars 2 as it did for Guild Wars 1, honestly. Now, that was a big thing about shouts in the first game. Oh, these are instant activation, you can use them anywhere, you don't have to stop moving. Well, because combat was so much more static all round, shouts were like this crazy cool type of skill. But honestly, they lose a lot of that in Guild Wars 2, which I guess is why it's okay now for... Oh, excuse me, God, the hula hoops have done a number on me. Which I guess is why now they just allow like the one class to have them or whatever, instead of having them more something that can be spread out over loads of different classes. Well, mind you, in Guild Wars 1, only warriors, paragons, and then there were a few PvE skills with shouts, so I don't know. In any case, it's a shout, so we can do that. It will give everyone in the area Fury, which increases our critical chance by 20%, and it gives everyone Might. Also, I'm aware I just went the wrong way, because that other player went there a much better way. So, that's quite cool. For a radius of 600, as you can see there, which isn't actually that much, to tell the truth. Oh, no. Oh. Okay, tip number 1, something I forget. Don't forget this is like a new account, so I've got to change my settings every time, but I always forget to turn off double tap to evade, because that is a pain in the arse on jumping puzzles. Speaking of jumping puzzles, this is one of them. Where are we as well? We're in the ruins of Rin. Yeah, I mentioned this last episode. Thought we should start this one off with a little bit of a look, because I feel like I didn't do amazing in Divinity's Reach showing off all the stuff, and it was a bit sporadic, but I kind of like this idea of coming to the Black Citadel, showing off some cool stuff, then going to continue our story. I'll try and keep it a little bit shorter, but yeah. So anyway, this is Rin, looking wonderful. Honestly, I can't... Rin you got to go to in Guild Wars 1, right? Not what... Okay, so during Guild Wars 1, in the plot, when you start the game, Rin is the capital city. Or, well, no, at the very start, the capital city is a place called Draskir, north of the wall. As I mentioned before, the Great Northern Wall was built, and then there were so few char attacks, the humans were just like, oh, fine, we'll just build out here. And it got to the point where they even had their capital city out there. But, or was it Sirmia that was? No, I think it was Draskir, yeah. So, but then the char attacked again, destroyed everything. And that capital fell. So then in the early days, not the earliest of days, because in the earliest of days it was Draskir, but then in the early days of Guild Wars 1's plot, the capital was Rin, which was another great city, but it was south of the wall. So they kind of named it that, and that's where a lot of the King Adalbert, and his son, Prince Rurik, spent their time at during those early days. But then towards the end of like the first chapter, if you will, if you can really even compare it to chapters of Guild Wars 2, but at the end of the first kind of section of Guild Wars 1, when you leave Ascalon, you actually end up going to Rin, but when you reach Rin, it's just been invaded and sieged by Char, and it's kind of looking in a bit of a sorry state, very similar to what we see it as right now. And that was kind of the defeat of Rin. And a main part of the plot of Guild Wars 1 was, after Rin was destroyed in this way, the son, Prince Rurik, kind of said to his king, look, we're going to lose this fight, we need to bail, or we need to get help from these other humans, the Crichtons, right, because they were kind of at war with each other, all the different nations of humans were at war in the time that the Char hadn't been attacking, but the king was still like super racist against the other humans, against the Crichtons in particular, and he didn't really like his son, and they'd been arguing a lot, and in the end, Rin was destroyed, and Rurik was like, no, fuck this, I don't agree with what you're doing, and he actually got banished from the kingdom by his own father. And you, the player, kind of always liked Rurik a little bit more, I suppose. Oh, actually, she had some dialogue about this place. You're standing in the ruins of the city of Rin. I'm the foreman here, supervising the exploration. I've been here before. I don't need anything else. Sure. Oh man, we had some different dialogue. You can feel free to go back and pause that. I'm annoyed that I missed that. So anyway, yeah, he basically, you like Rurik as the player character, and he goes off to Kryta and you follow him, and that's why you end up leaving Ascalon. So like the big moment really of the story of Guild Wars 1 when you're in Ascalon kind of happens here in Rin when you see it's all been destroyed. And yeah, you can still come here in Guild Wars 2. The Char deem this a great conquest, and as they push further into Ascalon and kill more humans in the later years, they end up being like, no, we're going to build our capital, we're going to build our Citadel right on top of, or as close as on top of, the ruins of Rin, their old capital, just to kind of spite them. So what we're seeing here with the Black Citadel is kind of a mission area in Guild Wars 1, and it looks very different. All of those splash screens that I've been putting up, that's this same area here. A lot of those are the ruins of Rin, but for Guild Wars 1's time. So, yeah, it's kind of difficult to get to this area. There is some reasonable dialogue here. There, in particular, I might have to cut it because I'm not 100% sure where they are, but there's a lot of Char around here. It could be this person here, a Ray Lore Hunter. In particular, there's 3 Char that have some interesting stuff to say about an artifact that was here. Greetings, I'm a Ray Lore Hunter, the lead researcher on this project. I'm hoping to document the facts about Rurik's ambush on Rin some 250 years ago. So after Rin was attacked, Rurik and you, the player character, go to retake it, and you reclaim it, but it's all been destroyed, and that's when this conversation happens between the king and the prince, and he says, well, shit, we need to leave. Are you a senior member of the Priory here? So remember the Priory we heard about just right at the end of Natalie Pinecove stuff? No, I'm actually the youngest by a whisker. Sten is the most senior here, then Jorg, but this is my project. I conceived it, I initiated it, and I decide how it proceeds. So what's the focus of your research? Historical accuracy, she says. The reports we have from the few survivors of that ambush at Rin are dubious at best, but we hope to find evidence of the truth in these ruins. Do you doubt the official story? I have reason to believe the official story told to visitors of the Stormcaller Monument is somewhat embellished. I hope to produce a more reliable account. Does anyone else share your suspicions? Jorg and Sten have undertaken their own studies. Jorg is looking for a mysterious tome. That book is thought to have been misplaced during Rurik's assault on Rin. What do you think of Sten's project? Sten will only say his research is incomplete. I know it has something to do with the ghosts here. I appreciate your time. So there's these 3 guys from the Priory. The Priory are one of the orders, if you remember, and they're very much interested in finding truth and seeking knowledge and so forth. It may have been lost before. Now, the Char obviously don't really like the humans, even though there is a truce, and they've got a lot of like propaganda and stories and things that twist the events that occurred 250 years ago, and that's kind of what she's looking into now. We got Jorg Tome Feaster. Are you a fellow scholar? Well, I am fascinated by the mysteries of law. Then would you mind if this old scholar bends your ear for a moment? Not at all. What are you working on? There's a reference in the ancient archives to a book called the Tome of the Fallen. It's said to have had great magical powers. I believe that book may be buried near here. Now, I recognise the name, the Tome of the Fallen. It might be some random thing in a small side quest that sadly I've forgotten about from Guild Wars 1, but it could be a thing. I might have to wiki that in a minute when I'm editing. Have you had any luck? No, but there is an apparition that appears here in the ruins at night. Occasionally, it will speak about the tome. Has this apparition provided any clues about its location? Unfortunately, it seems like more of an echo than an actual entity. It speaks, but I've been unable to communicate with it. That happens a lot in Guild Wars. You have more echoes of the past as spirits that move around and they don't really recognise what's going on. In particular, you'll see a few out in the Char lands, actually. So there's that. The apparition in question, I've never seen. I don't doubt for a second, though, that it does actually exist and you can actually find it here. There's a lot of weird stuff like that goes on. There's like one in a graveyard in Divinity's Reach as well. There's all kinds of stuff. So I'm sure that there really is an apparition. I just haven't got the foggiest idea where it is specifically or what time in night it appears during the game hours. So I won't be able to show that to you guys, but it could be something interesting. If you guys have seen, leave a comment for me, and maybe if it's super interesting, I'll do something else on it later. Anyway, here's the last person, Sten Veil Shredder. Careful where you step. This is the remains of the city of Rin. The Dermot Priory is conducting excavations here. Why are you excavating? I'm tracing the path of Rurik, the human prince who assaulted Bonfaz Burntfur's forces 2 years after the Searing. So those years after the Searing, all the Char that were really being attacked were led by this guy, Bonfaz Burntfur, who was probably Flame Legion, right? And actually in Guild Wars 1, you kill Bonfaz here at Rin to reclaim it for the humans after it's been destroyed. What do you know about the other researcher here in the ruins? There are similar projects. Jorg is searching for the Tome of the Fallen. Array is seeking what she calls truth about Rurik's ambush of Rin. I also have another project. What's your project? I study the ghosts of Ascalon, from a distance of course. There's an observation point on the wall north of here that's perfect. What do you hope to discover about the ghosts? I hope to discover how the ghosts came to be. The better we understand destructive magic like that, the more we can improve our defenses against that. I will take you to that area, that observation platform, eventually. Not today, though, or we'll end up spending way too long in Rin. Well, no, sorry, just the Black Citadel in general. But yeah, so kind of interesting there. We've just heard about this thing called Stormcaller. That's the other little thing that I want to show you. Mind you, we have been going 10 minutes. Why don't we just kind of call it there for our little tour of Rin for today, and we'll go do some more personal story. This area here, by the way, pretty cool place. This is the area I was talking about where you tend to find lots of the other races kind of hanging about. Obviously, plenty of char in this quarter here. There's a guy here, Growl Heartless. But here's an Asura, at least. Growl says, sniff, sniff, you don't smell like a plant thing. Who are you? I am KS Blacksoot, char and proud of it. Do I look like a plant thing to you? Don't mock me. Can't you see I'm blind? Why do you think I smelled you? Wow, okay. I did wonder, are you looking for a Sylvari? Ha, Sylvari. Fancy name for a talking weed. Don't you know they've only been around for 25 years? They just appeared. Poof. That's suspicious. What do you have against them? They're too friendly for one. For another, they're too cheerful. Anybody that cheerful is up to no good. Never trust anyone who trusts everyone. You know, cheerful isn't always a bad thing. Ha! When they start taking over Tyria like the weeds they are, then you'll see. I've heard they've already taken root as far away as the Brisbane wildlands. Oh, man. I like that guy's dialogue because there's a lot of suggestions that maybe the Sylvari aren't as noble as we might first think. That's cool. We got a guy from the Vigil here. I'm not going to speak to everyone. We could come back here later. This is one of my favourite areas in the Black Citadel, though. It's just so kind of real. It's so like slummy. It's just good. I can imagine this. It reminds me a lot of, I think it's Final Fantasy. I keep talking about Final Fantasy today, but the Final Fantasy 12, I think it was. There's a place in one of the first cities where you go like underneath, like the undercity, and this is what this reminds me of. Approach cautiously, friend, and state your intentions clearly. I have patience today. Little patience, sorry. I'm looking for answers, so talk fast. What do you want? Who are you? I'm Paga Friendhaunt. I'm a Gladium. You got a problem with that? Are you a Gladium by choice or circumstance? I should kill you on the spot for suggesting I'd leave my warband. My fellow warband members are gone, but they watch me from the mist, so they're dead. So I make certain to do nothing that would dishonour them. How do you go on? It takes strength. One day, you may know what I mean, though I hope you never do. Well, I lost most of my warband. I've already experienced loss far too many times. They say that which kills your friends only makes you stronger. Okay, so this is the infamous Gladium Canton. I've heard many stories. The stories don't do this place justice. Some call the Gladium Canton the Shallows. Others call it the Gallows. As you can clearly see, only the finest reside here. So loads of Gladiums around here, people that have lost their warbands. We should have come here in the personal story to recruit some people. I can understand why you might be bitter. It's not bitterness, it's vigilance. When you're a Gladium, you learn to watch your back, because everyone else is. Probably not a bad idea. Goodbye. It's kind of sad. So these are all Gladiums, actually. That hadn't twigged with me. I think that's the first time I've read that bit of dialogue. Oh, crap. I just fell down. It's so layered. This is so cool. I love this place. You got, like, these cogs here that clearly, like, concealing another little area over there. It's awesome. I do like it. And there's a chest here. There's nothing much here, but look at how homely this place is. Oh, my God. Nothing really to do or see here. It's just a nice hidden out of the way little lower deck. Oh, so cool. And there's a cub there. These NPCs probably have dialogue, not missing. That should be like my catchphrase. There is someone I specifically wanted to speak to, because as I said, this isn't just Char here. Or maybe I'm in the wrong place. If this is just the Gladium Canton, well, there's a plebeian there. Who's this? Ovium the Distant. You don't look like you belong here. You're too sweet-faced to be a Gladium. You call me that again and I'll... Hey, you don't want to be a Gladium. I lost my warband to a ghost raid. All dead but me. I was laid up that day with a head full of snot. If I'd been with them, they'd still be alive. Shit. I came close to being a Gladium. Close to being a Gladium ain't Gladium. Just like close to being killed ain't killed. There's no torture like losing your warband. Makes for some hardened soldiers, believe me. I believe you. Oh man, see, if you built a warband out of former Gladiums that lost their friends and their allies, how would they kind of feel going into other things? Oh, here's an actual Sylvari. Here's the other guy.
I'm at your service.
Wantham Light Friend. I'm Vinithari of the Sylvari. Oh, but what am I saying? Of course, you can tell by looking at me. Not by my name, I mean. That I'm a Sylvari. Oh dear. Wow, you're kind of nervous. I see you've mastered the obvious. Forgive me. I've only been here a short while. I'm still somewhat in awe of the city. Why are you in the Citadel? In my dream, I saw a city that never stops moving. A city built entirely from metal. After much questioning and searching, I found this Citadel. It's breathtaking, but tragic. Why do you find it tragic? I mean no offense, but when I look at all the plants, trees and flowers that died to make room for this place, I cannot help but feel pain. But progress requires sacrifice, so they tell me, but it still makes my heart wilt. This is probably a good time for me to move along. Interesting. You know what, I think I was wrong about this place. I thought this place was full of, like, other races, and this is where they all came to hang out, because I remember speaking to that Sylvari, and there are quite a few of the other races. No, yeah, look, and then there's some humans here, but I guess it's just kind of mixed with the Gladiums. It's interesting that those two places are one and the same. We've got a guy here. He's probably one of the most interesting people in the Black Citadel, honestly.
Hello.
Donald Regland, who says, "You're that soldier, Chaos Blacksuit, right? The one who took down Duke Baradin?" Sure I am. Are you going to hold that against me, human? Actually, I have no love for those Ascalonian ghosts. They don't just attack Char, you know. Edelman brought a plague on all of us. What are you doing here in the Black Citadel? I used to be a trader before the ceasefire, hauling supplies out to Ebonhawk. On my last run, I encountered a patrolling warband. I knew if we ran, I'd be dead. So you surrendered? I prefer living over the alternative. They brought me here to the Gladium Canton, where I was held until the ceasefire. On the day it was signed, I was once again a free man. Wow, I guess that's why you got such an epic beard there. Why haven't you resumed trading? Things change. I've been here for so long, I've grown to love the ingenuity and organisation of the city. I'm a welder's apprentice now. Oh, really? Come on, this is the one city that's not organised. A wise decision, human. Good luck to you. He's not the interesting guy. This is the guy. The Al-Seen. Even his name, I feel like, is a reference to something. But, this guy's awesome. Okay. Stop! Approach no further. You're in the presence of the Al-Seen. Show him your respect. What the hell is wrong with you? The Al-Seen is perfect in every facet. He needs nothing, and is nothing, and yet he is everything. Enlighten me, deluded one, what is an Al-Seen? It was prophesied over 300 years ago, so this was 50 years before Nightfall, an Elonian long from home, living beneath steel, would rise and lead his people back to the Crystal Desert. So I'm guessing you think you're this great hero? Perhaps there is hope for the heathens who plague this metal monstrosity. When the moment arrives for me to lead my people home, I may allow you to travel with us. You're aware the Crystal Desert is barren, right? The Al-Seen would make it fruitful again. All will bow to me, be it that pretender Palawa Joko or the Elder Dragons. The Al-Seen will be loved. The Al-Seen will become the ultimate. Well, it's good to have goals. Goodbye. Okay. First of all, he's claiming to be an Alolan. There's no reason why he couldn't be an Alolan. Even as a human, if you pick the right steps, you can choose for yourself to be an Alolan. But supposedly he's an Alolan. There's a lot of stuff he talks about here. The Crystal Desert, first of all. For those of you totally clueless, it's this place down here. So I've mentioned before, Elona is further to the south, below all of this. This is the Crystal Desert. We say that it's barren. Actually, there's more life there in Guild Wars 2 than there was in Guild Wars 1 because of this huge river that's come up. It also mentions this guy, Palawa Joko. That's this guy that's conquered all of Elona at this moment. So he's an interesting character. There's probably, I don't doubt that there is a prophecy in the lore that says this. I doubt that he's the guy in the prophecy. But it could be like something that they're hinting at for when that expansion finally comes out. It's a cool idea, though. I like him. We got some other guy here. We got another Vigil guy, a plebeian. Wait, isn't that just a name for the Asura? Okay, fine. Maybe the Asura's named him a plebeian. Oh, and then there's this guy here. Okay, maybe not. Sylvari. So, yeah, this is the Gladium Canton. Cool place. I've noticed we've spent so long here. Let's just make this a bit of a Black Citadel tour instead of rushing off and trying to do personal story. That makes sense to me. I'll title it Black Citadel Tour as well, because then people know what they're getting in for. So we'll do it that way. Right, so yeah, this is this place that I also wanted to show you guys. Very kind of complicated, cool looking place. There's even a vista hidden down here. I've mentioned quite a few times, well, I don't know on videos. I've mentioned before, the vistas very much remind me of getting graffiti cells in a game called Jet Set Radio Future. I think they were in Jet Set Radio 2, but I never played the first one. Jet Set Radio Future, and this one in particular reminds me of that more than all others, just because it's got the same kind of architectural style as you see a lot in Jet Set Radio, and there's just like a mark on your map, and you got to try and find a way to get to it, and it's reasonably well hidden and stuff. I love it. It's so cool. But there is a vista down here. It's right there, yeah. So we just got to figure out how to get over to that. Oh. Can we just walk around it? I literally just walked past it.
Become a war band, even if they say we're not.
Okay, sure. Little cub. Yeah, it's right here. Okay, so it's not really hard to find, but it just reminds me so much of proper graffiti cells from Jet Set Radio Future. I love that about vistas. All they'd have to do is change the icon into, like, the floating, spinning white trophy that glows, and there you have it. Straight away, you've got a graffiti cell system. Except I think you had to do challenges or something to unlock them in Jet Set Radio Future, I think. First you had to do something to make them appear, and then you'd have to go find them. Anyway, there you go. That's 2 of the 5 vistas now complete in the Black Citadel. I'm not really rushing around trying to do completion or whatever here. Once I'm sure our story's taken us long past it, I might come back and do that just so that I can get a little bit of extra experience, but yeah, it's not really in my interest to LP through that. Right, anyway, so we took an elevator from Rin into there, and now we can come back out into the perimeter loop. Place I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with at this point, but this is a section of the perimeter loop I haven't shown you before. First of all, there's a big ring of merchants. They all just sell random, not that interesting consumables. It's weird that they've done this. I don't know, maybe it's just something they thought might be fun to do, like, oh, we'll have an area where you can buy lots of food, but the way the game realistically has been set up, it's so much better for people to just craft their own food rather than buy it from these people. This is what I'm talking about, by the way, when I mean, it's a shame about merchants in this game, because yeah, these guys have even got maybe slightly, if you consider it that, unique stuff, even though there will be other merchants in the game that sell this. They've got interesting stuff for sale, but nothing you want to buy. So they've kind of set up this ring of merchants that could have been interesting, but you'll never see anyone coming over and using their services, I promise you that. You might see someone. You might see someone doing a Let's Play and coming and talking, hey, but aside from that, probably not. Anyway, this area of the perimeter loop is home to something quite cool. This massive horn. This is Stormcaller. So when Rurik assaulted Rin and after it had been destroyed and he tried to take it back from the Char and did take it back from the Char, he only managed to do so, he only managed to overpower them with you, the player character, through the help of this artifact.
Up ahead, you see the Stormcaller horn. The evil human sorcerer Rurik used it to massacre a Char brigade, led by our ancestral hero, Bonfaz Burntfur.
I already heard this story 1,000 times. He blew in the horn and it made fire rain down from the sky on our army.
All right, Smarty Tail. What else do you know?
I know that human Rurik ambushed us without warning. If I'd been there, I'd have ripped his throat out.
Oh yeah, would you?
Good enthusiasm. Let's get a closer look.
Let's just follow this tour. If these guys keep talking, let's do it.
Let me tell you a little something about humans. They love their magic, and they believe in gods.
How come we don't kill them all then?
They're our enemy, and never forget that. But we have a greater enemy now.
I know, the dragons.
That's right. The awakening of the dragons has shifted the balance of power across the land. We have a new, more pressing enemy now.
See? They still consider humans their enemy.
We should feed the humans to the dragons, then kill the dragons.
Don't be stupid. The dragons won't eat icky humans. They just throw them at us.
Some believe as you do. Tribune Bright-Eye doesn't want a truce with the humans. Others, such as Tribune Kindleshot, disagree. There's a lot of argument about this.
Humans are scrawny. All the great heroes fought them, but they're not a threat anymore. And they divide our army if we war with them.
Well said. And on that note, let's move on. Stock Warband, forward march!
That is very cool. Okay, are they going to keep talking? So this is the Char perspective. I love this. This is so good. Oh man, you should just be able to trigger these dialogues just by pressing F with people instead of having to wait for like some circumstantial moment that they're there. Are you guys going to have anything else to say, or just march around Stormcaller and then leave? I think they might just leave. Are they going to go? Alright, well that was a fascinating experience. Okay, bye. Alright, so I mustn't get the side of the humans here. We are playing as a Char. But there are some things fundamentally wrong with what they say there. Obviously, they don't like Rurik or what he did. The first thing that they mention is that he blew this horn and rained fire down on the Char. Actually, the truth is, it just made it rain. It might have damaged them in some magical way, but it made it rain. And I think that's quite funny, tying back into, oh, the Char is supposed to be like feline, and then it's raining and it weakened their armies or whatever. But that's what it did. We blew the horn, and storm clouds gathered, and I guess just kind of threw the Char off guard, as well as whatever minor magical deficit they had inflicted upon them. So there was that, but basically the story goes that in Guild Wars 1, we were trapped north of the wall trying to save prisoners that the Char had taken, and we found this old ruin of a magical academy, and in there we found this artifact, Stormcaller, that had been lost for a long time. I believe it was actually an artifact that was said to be used in the actual Guild Wars, in fights between humans and other humans, rather than against the Char. For some reason that sticks in my mind. I could be wrong about that. But they take it, and because they're in a magical academy, they also find a portal, and they flee from the Char through the portal, and that takes them to a place just to the north of where we currently are, a place here, which was another magical academy called the Nalani Academy. From there, Rurik realizes that Rin has been attacked, and you go to retake it. Now, all you really found in the other magical academy, which by the way was like all the way up here, this is like where the other academy was in Guild Wars 1 where we found it, you find out that it was actually just a mouthpiece. It wasn't the entire horn. You can just blow it anywhere you wanted. It was just a mouthpiece. It was the mouthpiece to this larger thing that was set on this big like ruin building off on a cliffside that overlooked Rin, which, as you can see, is still the case in Guild Wars 2. It's still in the same geographical location. It's on a massive hill that overlooks Rin itself. In Guild Wars 1, you climb all the way up this cliff fighting Char, or actually you're avoiding Char at that point, and then Rurik walks up this long podium right up to the top of there, places the mouthpiece in, and blows the horn. And I don't know whether you can really see in Guild Wars 2 whether the mouthpiece is still there, but And when he blows it, all the Char that are assaulting the city get wakened. You run in, you Rurik and the player character, you all run in and you kill them and you take them out. And Bonfaz Burnfur in particular is slain there, and that's where you finally kill him. And he's been kind of harassing you throughout that first chapter of Ascalon in Guild Wars 1. So that's kind of what happens there with the Horn. The other thing that those Char mentioned was they called Bonfaz Burnfur a hero. Which is interesting. So maybe he wasn't Flame Legion, because maybe he was Flame Legion, but they still just consider him a hero because of the propaganda that's bred over the years. Or maybe he wasn't Flame Legion at all. But it's largely agreed that a lot of the fighting that was going on against Char in Guild Wars 1 was orchestrated and led by the Flame Legion, who had found power in, as I said, in gods and in magic, and they were empowering the Char people with flame. So yeah, that's a bit of a crash course. We do have some other stuff, some more Char version of the tale that we can see here. Obviously, we experienced this ourselves in Guild Wars 1, so it's interesting to see the Char perspective when we know exactly what truly happened. Why have you placed it here? Hold on, sorry. We skipped a bit of dialogue there. This is Stormcaller, a relic of the past and a symbol of a great victory. Why have you placed it here? It represents the reclaiming of our ancient home and reminds us of what we fought for so long. It's just a big horn if you ask me, but I'm impressed what it stands for. It's a testament to perseverance and quite beautiful as well. Or Stormcaller is an artifact of legendary power and deserving of such an honour. No, it's just a big horn. It certainly sets the heart racing at least. Hopefully that's enough for you to feel inspired by swift action. So yeah, we got this big old horn here. We got this person here we can speak to. Stand proud before this testament to our heroic victory over human occupation. So this is the legendary Stormcaller. In all its glory, the enchanted horn from the human tyrant Rurik sounded to summon lightning and death down upon our great hero Bonfaz Burnfur. They say Rurik's attack was nothing but a cowardly ambush. The conniving Ascalonians, unable to defeat us through force of arms, sneaked around behind us and summoned lethal magic with this horn. She doesn't really say that much. But you can see there's that slant. And of course, don't forget though, there are Char that are members of the Dermond Priory down in Rin right now, trying to figure out the authenticity of the Char's story about the horn and whether they can confirm whether that was truly what happened. So some of them do seek the truth and they're trying to rid themselves of whatever racism they might have. But I think that conversation is a really good example, and a lot of stuff in the Black Citadel, in fact, is a great example of the fact that when the Elder Dragons are dead, the Char will still consider us enemies. They'll still consider everyone enemies, not just humans. Norn as well, potentially. Asurans. There's so much talk online about Asurans fighting the Char and who would win that war. But yeah, so they never forget that. They're only in an allegiance because of circumstance right now. This guy says it's only fitting that we Gladium live in a district of cast-offs bordered by a scrapyard. How did you become one? Wait, are you supposed to be up here or down below me right now? I'm a soldier without a warband. By circumstance, not choice. I live alone, I fight alone, and I'll no doubt die alone. Can't you just join another warband? The hope I might one day join another warband keeps me alive, but few trust lone survivors. The sneering questions, why did I alone escape with my life? Was it because I turned tail? So where do you live now? Gladium Canton. That's where... Oh no, maybe it's not supposed to be down there. It's where the refuse of the Citadel settles like sludge in a stream. There, we the Gladium live side by side with other races, even humans. There you go. So yeah. Sounds disagreeable. I think I'll be going. Okay, guys. Wow, I've spent so long here. But I've shown you most of the cool stuff in the Black Citadel. There's one other really cool thing I want to show in the Black Citadel. That will come later, though. There's also a giant furnace I could show you eventually, the Great Imperial Smelter, that just looks cool, but there's not much lore there, really, I suppose. But yeah, oh, there's Nolani, by the way. That's what I was talking about. Haunted Nolani, so yeah. I guess I will catch you guys tomorrow. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. We'll do some more personal story then. I hope you enjoyed this tour of the Black Citadel. I know we didn't progress with the personal story, but hey, when I did Guild Wars 1 as well, we didn't always force ourselves to do a campaign thing every single time. So hopefully you learned something, hopefully it was fun, and I'll see you next time. Have a great evening. Not wave, damn it! I'm not a real soldier. There we go.
When it disrupts my city, your fund is my problem.